Hi there. The purpose of this video is going to be a walkthrough in InspireNet Mobile, otherwise known as the tablet. So let's begin. You'll notice down at the bottom right of my screen, there is an InspireNet Mobile icon. I'm going to simply click on that icon and it's going to open up InspireNet Mobile. So some very basic navigation pieces. You'll see at the top of the screen, there is a calendar and I can slide that calendar left to right. So the tablet will only go back so far. You'll see that if today is the 27th, it'll go back 1 week to the 20th. It'll also go forward further than that. It'll go forward it'll go forward a month, but it will only really load appointments for about the next week. So even though the calendar looks like it can go further than that, it really doesn't. It's really only looking about 7 days back and 7 days forward. A couple of navigation tricks. So this is my schedule view. If I click the three little lines at the top left, you might call that a hamburger menu. There's a schedule. There's also a button for sync. There's a way to search for customers, and there's something called the product selector. And we'll get into each one of these separately. So let's take a look at the sync. There's two ways to get to the sync screen. One is right here on the hamburger menu. You can see I can click sync there. Or at the top right-hand side of the screen, there's a sync icon, the two little chasing arrows. And if I click those two little chasing arrows, I can see the syncing. So when you think about syncing, this is where the tablet pulls information from Salesforce and sends information back to Salesforce. InspireNet Mobile and Salesforce are two different programs, but they share information with one another. So on the left-hand side of the screen, schedule, price list, product list, tax list, and rules. These are all things that the tablet gets from Salesforce. So for example, your calendar schedule, if you book an appointment in Salesforce, in order to get that appointment to your tablet, you would need to sync, and it brings your schedule down. Your price list resides in Salesforce. In order to bring it to the tablet, you have to sync in order to bring the price list down. The right-hand side of the screen, these are the things that push up to Salesforce. So from the tablet, we would push completed appointments. So that's going to include all the drawing data and everything that has to do with your proposals, as well as media. So there's your pictures, videos, anything that you took in the home. If I hit the back button at the top left, I'm simply going to go back to my schedule screen. One other note, the three little dots in the top right-hand corner, if there are issues at some point where you're having big time technical problems, there is a way to send logs. So the send logs button is a very helpful way for you to be able to show the IT group exactly what you were working on when there was a problem. Hopefully you don't have too many of those, but let's see where we can go. So I want to start by clicking this plus button that you see in the middle of the screen. That is going to create what we call a training task. A training task is very helpful. It allows you to be able to just play without any repercussions. You can land jobs, you can do whatever you want to. Training tasks, you really don't have access to them in Salesforce. Technically they do sync, but you really can't get to them. So I'm going to hit the plus button. It's going to create that appointment for me. It's going to create that training task for me, and it's going to go ahead and open it up. I'll just show you. If I go back one screen, I'm going to X out of that for just a moment. Let's say that we reset the appointment. I'm going to come back into it. It doesn't matter. So you'll see I've got two here because I was working with one earlier today, and that shows demo. And then this second one that I just created, I hit reset. It's fine. But I just wanted to show you that this is a training task that's been created, and I'm going to go back into it. I'm just going to touch that training task, that second one that you see on the screen. I'm just going to touch that and open it back up again. If this were a real customer, you would have all of their information here. So their email, their phone number, anything that was loaded into Salesforce, you're going to have that information here. Now, a quick note about navigation. Across the top of the screen, you see right now I'm pointed on the little icon that looks like a piece of paper. The next one over is a little bubble. The next one over is a video. The next one over is a pencil. So you'll notice that you can move through the tablet by simply clicking on the menus at the top of the screen. Right now, these menus may not mean anything to you, but over time, you'll learn what each one of those means. And so it's a quick way of getting to where you want to go. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning again. Another way to move through is most of the time at the bottom right-hand side of the tablet, there will be a button that allows you to move to the next screen. So in this case, that button says go. So I'm going to hit the go button, and it does the same thing, but now it's going to move me through every screen. So where clicking on the little comment bubble, the little thought bubble icon skipped a couple of screens, this way I can see every screen. So if this was a real customer appointment, I might have all the customer information. I click on the go button, and now there's some little helpful hints about what to do. So what am I going to do? I'm going to warm up with the customer. I'm going to inspection. These are things that lean into the sales system. And right now, I'm not going to really dive into the sales system with you. I really want to spend some time focusing on what the tablet does. So let's reserve the sales stuff for another time. So I'm going to hit the next button. Again, this is sort of a sales thing, but this is where we can record. When the customer answers the question, how long have you been thinking about replacing your flooring? I can simply log it here. Well, it's been between 6 months and a year. What made you decide to do it today? Oh, I'm not doing it today. I'm going to get other estimates. And did the customer agree to call the reference list? Well, yes or no. And this is simply a way at the bottom of the screen of recording how many customers did and how many didn't. So on the objection, right now the tablet says that I need to get other estimates. That's the input that I've given it. If I hit the next screen, I get a primary and a secondary strategy. So these are strategies for how to close this sale. So the customer said that they were getting other estimates, and the tablet shows me that I really, really need to focus in on step 6, educating the customer on their options when it comes to buying flooring. And the secondary focus is step 4, really nailing the company story and helping them understand who Floor Coverings International is. You'll notice if I go back, if I pick a different one, let's say I'm not sure what product I want, or even better, I'm just starting to do research. I can click the next button, and now it gives me a different primary and secondary strategy. Again, this leans a lot into the sales process, so we're going to sort of skip that for right this minute. So I'm going to move forward from here. Let's hit the next button. This screen allows you to take an inspection video. An inspection video, again, is part of the sales process. Unfortunately, I'm recording this on Zoom, and Zoom will not allow me to record the inspection video while I'm on Zoom. So you just have to try this on your own. Click on that little box that has a picture of a camera, and it will allow you to take a quick video, which will be played later for the customer. Let's hit the next button. Now we're on the drawing screen. I'm going to work through this pretty quickly. I want to show you the basics. There's other videos that show more detailed about how to handle different things. I just want to show you the basics of what the tablet can do today. So first of all, on the left-hand side of the screen, starting at the bottom of the screen, you'll see 4 buttons there. There's an icon for square. There's an icon labeled draw, one that's labeled square feet, and one that's labeled stairs. Let's just start by hitting the square button. If I hit the square button and then touch the screen anywhere, and by the way, when I talk about touching the screen, it's no different than just touching your phone. Everybody has a touch screen phone. I mean, we don't even think about it anymore. If you just touch the screen on your tablet the same way you would touch your phone, it works. So all I'm going to do is touch the screen, and it gives me a square box. Yeah, but my room is rectangular, not square. It's okay. Once you put the dimensions in, the tablet will resize, reshape, and will actually make it to scale. A little side note, you'll notice that now the tablet is looking for input, and it always looks for input in 2 boxes. So the first box is always feet, the second box is always inches. So let's say that this room is 10 feet 6 inches wide. 10 feet, and then I hit the check mark, 6 inches. So 10 feet 6 inches. It's not 10.5 feet. I don't enter just a bunch of inches, and no, we can't convert it to meters. Sorry if you're in Canada. So it's 10 feet 6 inches. What is the other dimension? Well, let's hit the check mark, and now you'll see that the other 2 walls light up. Now that those are highlighted, we can put some numbers in there. So let's say that this is 15 feet 7 inches long. So we have our room, 10 feet 6 by 15.7. Let's hit the confirm button. And we're going to look at what the room name is. Well, room name, this is a bedroom. Now I can type or I can simply select the word bedroom. So a couple of things to note here. There is a long list of preloaded room names. So if I select any one of these room names, it's simply going to pop it in here. But whatever room name is put in this box, that will show up on the customer's proposal. So it might be that you say, this is the girl's bedroom. And it makes it a little bit more personal because you're identifying the room maybe the same way that the customer identified it to you. You can change the level of the room. So is it in the basement? Is it on the first floor, second floor, third floor? If you need more floors, you can hit the plus button. We're just going to leave this bedroom on the first floor. So the menu across the top, you'll notice we're looking at the room menu and there's 5 sub-menus. There's the room details, door, takeout, items to move, and photos and notes. And again, I can jump from one of these to another by simply clicking the button at the top of the screen. Room details, the only thing that I really need to put on here is to give it a room name and a room level. That's it. Now, I can move to the door menu by clicking at the top where it says door or down at the bottom where it says move on to door. So just like many other places in the tablet, there's 2 ways to get to the next thing. So let's choose a wall for the door. So I'm standing inside the room and the door happens to be on the far wall. So let's click the far wall and it automatically puts a door there. Now, maybe the door is the wrong size. Maybe it's in the wrong place. It's fine. To start with, just get it on the right wall. Then I can click the word door 1. So simply touch door 1 and it brings up an entire door menu. Open wall. What is an open wall? Well, let's say that you were measuring a kitchen and dining room, but there really wasn't a wall there. It was just an open space. If I click on open wall, you'll notice that now the door is the whole length of the wall. That's fine. In this case, it really is a door. Is it a standard 32-inch door, a 3-foot door, a 6-foot door, or is it a custom size? So it might be that this door is 4 feet, 3 inches wide. Who knows? Okay. And you'll notice that it resized the door on the drawing. How far is it from the left or from the right? So if I'm looking at this door, if I'm standing inside the room and I'm looking at this door, from the left, maybe it's in the corner, maybe it's in the right corner, maybe it's a little bit more centered in the room. So maybe it's like, I don't know, 4'4", let's call it 3'4". Yeah, it looks like it's about centered. Now it's sort of in the center of that wall. So you can change the size of the door. You can change the distance it is from one corner to the other. Adding a transition. So if we were doing one type of floor in the bedroom and a different type of floor in the hallway, we might have a transition there, a reducer, a T-mold or something. So this is going to add the transition to your proposal. Trimming the door. What does trimming the door mean? Well, it literally means taking the door off the hinges and cutting the bottom of the door. So maybe you were in a home that had a hardwood floor and now you're putting carpet in, and the carpet is a really, really thick carpet and you feel like the door is going to drag across the top of the carpet. Your installer would have to take the door off the hinges, take it outside and cut the bottom of the door so that it doesn't drag on the carpet. That's what this means, trimming the door. And of course, there's an extra cost to that. You do have the ability to take pictures and take videos. So you would simply click on the picture button or click on the video button and allow yourself to take a picture of that doorway. That is extremely helpful for you, for your office manager, your production manager, your installers. If you need help trying to figure out what kind of transition to use, if you've got pictures of everything as you're walking through the house, it's a great thing. You can have multiple doors. So let's say in this girl's bedroom, there's a second door. I can click on the little plus, see over here on the left where it says door 1. I can click on the plus that's below there, and now it's looking for another door. So let's just put a door on this wall, and we'll move it to the other corner. So I'm going to click on door 2. and I'm going to simply move it to the right side, and now it's going to move it over to the right side. What is it? Left, right, top, bottom. If you have to sort of picture yourself inside the room looking at the wall. Well, if I'm inside the room looking at the wall, then yes, it's in the right corner. And we'll leave everything else the same. So let's move on to takeout. What does it mean to take out? So don't confuse this. This is not what flooring are you taking out. So this isn't where you're talking about removing the carpet that's in there. This is talking about what square footage do you need to remove from your proposal. So right now, this room calculates, if you look at the room drawing, it says that my square footage number is 163.63 square feet. So if you're estimating a hardwood floor, LVP floor, you know you need 163.63 square feet of product to be able to do this, plus a little waste factor, right? But what if there was a built-in bookcase in this bedroom? So I'm not necessarily going to, because it's a built-in, I'm not going to move the bookcase, but I don't need the flooring to go underneath it. So how do I remove that square footage from the proposal? Well, that's what's called a takeout. So I'm going to hit the plus button over here that says add a new takeout. And there's 3 ways to remove that area. There's 4 buttons here because the 4th one is a perimeter takeout. I'll get to that in a moment. The 3 ways that I can remove material from this proposal, one would be a square foot. So I could do some mental math. Let's say that this bookshelf, this built-in bookshelf, it's a typical bookshelf depth, and maybe it's 10 feet long. So let's just say, to make the math easy, let's say it's 2 feet deep and it's 10 feet wide. Well, that would be 20 square feet. So I could come over here and I could type in 20 square feet. And that would simply remove it. You'll notice over on the left-hand side now, it says that there's a 20 square foot takeout, and my square footage has dropped to 143 instead of the 163 it was. Well, that's great if it's 2 foot by 10 foot, but what if it's 3 foot 8 by 4 foot 6? The math can get really weird when you're dealing with feet and inches. So why don't we not do that? And instead, I'll show you a couple of other ways. I could put in the actual measurements. So you'll notice now you get 4 boxes on the right-hand side. There's the length and the width, and each one of those has 2 boxes. So quiz question for you. What goes in the first box? Feet. What goes in the second box? Inches. So length would be expressed as, let's say it's 6 feet 8 inches, and the width is 2 feet 1 inch. Okay. So now you'll notice that the tablet does the math for you. I've got a 13.89 square foot takeout. So it has dropped from 163.63 to 149.74. Great. The math has been done. But that takes a lot of time. Honestly, when you're in a customer's house, you're looking for the fastest way to get by and to move through the process. So my personal favorite is this one called standard takeouts. Standard takeouts or standard cabinets. How deep is a standard cabinet? I mean, when you walk into a kitchen, you walk into a bathroom and you see a vanity in the bathroom, those are all about 22 inches deep. I know that the countertop might be bigger than that, but the distance below that you're actually removing the flooring from your proposal, that distance is normally about 22 inches. So if you walk into a kitchen and you see that these are just standard size cabinets, there's nothing funky here. These are standard size cabinets. You don't even have to measure the depth because the tablet knows the depth. All you're going to do is measure the linear length. So let's say that I measure 10 feet worth of linear footage. I can come in here and I can say, I want 10 feet. And you'll notice that now it does the math for me. So I don't even have to put in inches. I'm just putting in feet, 10 feet. And I get 146 square feet because I've got a 17.5 square foot takeout. So we can leave this in here. By the way, it doesn't have to be just cabinets. It might be that I'm looking at this bookcase, this theoretical built-in bookcase, and I say, you know what? That's about the same size as cabinets. I'm not going to bother with measuring the depth. I'm just going to measure the length. It's 10 linear feet. Boom, off you go. It's the same thing in a bathroom. It's close enough. You know what? I even use it for islands in a kitchen because a lot of times an island in the kitchen is about as wide as two standard cabinets. So if I measure it as 4 feet, I just double it and say it's 8 feet and move on. You're trying to be approximately right. You're trying to be tight with your measurements for sure, but you don't need to be down to the inch. I mean, we're doing flooring. This isn't rocket science. You can add additional takeouts. So I could hit the plus button and create additional takeout. You'll notice that there's delete buttons. If I want to delete a takeout, I can add photos, I can add videos. So here we go. These are takeouts. Let's move on to items to move. And let's talk through each one of these. What is an appliance? Well, an appliance might be a washer, a dryer. It might be a refrigerator, a stove, a dishwasher. And it's very simple. If I have an appliance that needs to be moved, I simply say I have one appliance or two appliances or whatever. So obviously, this is going to create a line in the proposal. How about a toilet, pedestal sink, other? Well, again, these are ways of being able to add a line to your proposal to add extra cost. So what is it going to cost you to move a toilet? What's it going to cost you to move a pedestal sink? These things should be in your price list manager. So if you said, I have one toilet, then it'll bring in the cost of moving that one thing. Probably not a toilet in the bedroom. How about heavy items to move? So when we think about heavy items to move, this is something that confuses people because you're going to see in a few minutes, there's a heavy furniture move, which is very different than heavy items to move. You might think of this as a specialty item to move rather than a heavy item to move. Don't think about the weight. Think about the fact that you're going to need additional labor to do something. I'll give you an example, a pool table, which happens to weigh a lot. But the big deal with a pool table is that in order to get a pool table out of the room, it has to be disassembled. And it's not going to be your installers that disassemble it. More than likely, you're going to have to call a pool table company that comes in and disassembles the pool table. And then they come back and reassemble the pool table and level it, make sure that everything's right with it. So that's probably not going to be your installers. That's going to be a case where you're going and hiring someone different. You're going out to the local pool table people and having them come and move that pool table for you. So don't think of this as a heavy, like it's a weight thing. This is a specialty item to move. And a specialty item to move requires special labor to come in and do it. Moving a grand piano, maybe moving a grandfather clock, maybe it's a gun safe, maybe it's, I don't know. There's a ton of things that can fall into this category, but I don't want you to get hung up on the word heavy. I want you to think about this as being a specialty item to move, something that's going to require specialty labor in order to move it. Because again, there's going to be an extra cost here, and that cost is reflective of what it is that you're going to have to pay somebody to move this, whatever this item is. I'll leave those blank for the moment, photos and notes. And you'll notice here that you can add pictures, you can add notes, you can add videos. Anything you add here is going to get synced back up with Salesforce so that you have it as a record. So from here, I can either move on to room details. I can go back to one of these other menus if I need to, or I can click on the button that says back to floor plan. So let's go back to the floor plan. And now we have a room. A generic note about the screen itself. I can click on this room, highlight it, and I can move it around. I can pinch the screen as long as I'm not pinching where the room is. I can pinch the white space around it and zoom in or zoom out. Let's say that I move it all the way off the screen. I've lost it. The button at the top left is a centering button. So if I click on that, it brings everything back to where it should be. You'll notice the number 1 there right below that. Well, those are my levels. Well, I drew this on level 1. Maybe I draw the next room on level 2, and I don't see it on the same screen. So I would need to bounce between levels. Another general note about drawing, and this is going to sound backwards to anybody that's accustomed to looking at engineering drawings, anybody that's accustomed to looking at architectural drawings or house drawings. My suggestion to you is this. When you draw, stand in the room facing the front door of the house, not necessarily the front door of the room that you're in. But in this case, like this girl's bedroom is here, the front of the house would be at the top of the screen. And yes, that's backwards from most floor plans. Most of the time when you look at a floor plan, the front door of the house is at the bottom of the page. Why am I suggesting that you reverse that and put the front door at the top? It's very easy to find the front of the house. So when you're upstairs and you're in one of these weird angled hallways that meanders all over the place, if you look out a window and you see trees, well, you might be looking out at the side of the house. You might be looking out at the back of the house. Is it the left side, right side? Sometimes I know it sounds crazy to get lost in a house, but especially when you get into some of these weird angled hallways and angled rooms, you may find that you get a little bit disoriented. If you look out a window and you see the front street, you know you're looking at the front of the house. And so my suggestion is that as a matter of consistency, as a matter of doing it the same way every time that you walk into a home, you establish this is where the front door of the house is, and you always turn your body so that you're facing the front door of the house when you measure a room. That's going to put the front door of the house at the top of the drawing. Okay. Then there's a consistency. Does that consistency matter? Yes, it does. For something like a hardwood floor, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because all I need for a hardwood floor is to know the total number of square feet. And all I'm doing with the drawing, I'm not trying to make a drawing that a builder could go back and rebuild the house. All I'm trying to do is come up with the total number of square feet. So out of everything that I've done here, the most important number on this screen right now is 146. That's how many square feet is involved in this room. And then, of course, the perimeter. So if I'm doing baseboards, quarter round, whatever kind of trim work, I know how much perimeter there is. But if I'm doing carpet, rooms that touch one another, rooms where the carpet is going to touch, like the bedroom and the hallway, the carpet has to be turned in the same direction. So in order to make sure that the carpet's turned in the same direction, the rooms have to be drawn in the same orientation. So pick a standard. If your standard is, I'm always going to look out the back of the house, I'm always going to have the front door at my back, I'm always going to face east, whatever your standard is, pick a standard that's easy for you and that's easy for a design associate, that's easy for anybody to be able to pick up a tablet in your business and be able to measure and do so consistently. So let's take a look at one of the other icons. How do we draw a room that's not just a box? Well, there's a pencil here called Draw. And if I click on the pencil, the tablet reacts a little bit differently. Now I'm going to draw the room. A note about drawing rooms. You are not touching the screen and dragging your finger. This is not a program where you drag to create a line. This is a program where you simply touch the screen to create a corner and then touch the screen again to create the next corner. Let's show you an example. If I touch the screen one time, I get a little dot. That's one of the corners. Now, I'm going to simply move my finger over. Notice my hand is not touching the screen. I'm going to simply go over to where I want to establish another corner and touch the screen one time. This is key. I'm going to touch the screen one time. If I touch the screen two times, the tablet will put one wall on top of another wall, and you'll never see that it's there. By having one wall on top of the other wall, you will get an error message. It will not complete the room. You get frustrated. Oh, the world is horrible. And it's particularly painful when you're in the customer's house and you feel like you're under a ton of pressure. So you need to practice this. It's one touch to create that corner. Let's create another corner. Just a touch. Let's create another corner. Just a touch. Let's create another corner. Just a touch. Another corner. Just a touch. Another corner, another corner. Now, I am not going to try to draw the last wall. Instead of trying to draw the last wall, it's almost impossible for me to touch that last corner, so I'm not even going to try. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this button on the left-hand side that says Close Shape. When I close the shape, the tablet draws the last wall for me. You'll notice that so far I haven't put any dimensions in. Well, that's by design. Now I'm going to go back and put in dimensions. So the tablet highlights which wall it wants. It's no coincidence. It's going to ask for the dimensions in the same order that you created the walls. So I did that long bottom wall first. That's the first wall that the tablet wants me to put in. I'm going to put some numbers in here. And you're going to notice something about the numbers that I do. I have drawn this in a particular shape, but once I get all the dimensions in, the tablet will resize and scale it. So let's do this. Let's say that this is 30 feet. And then let's say that this is 15 feet. Let's say that this one is only 5 feet. Now this wall comes down 5 feet. Maybe it comes across 5 feet and goes back up 5 feet. Now maybe this wall would then be 20 feet. This doesn't look anything like what I first drew, because now the tablet has actually scaled the drawing according to the dimensions that I've taken. So what was important on the first screen was just to establish where the corners are so that then I can go back around and put in the dimensions. I'll hit the check mark on the left-hand side to confirm. I can give it a room name. Maybe this is a living room. And I could still go through, for the sake of time, I'm not going to, but I could still go through and do the doors, the takeouts, the items to move. Right now, I just want to go back to the floor plan. This room is highlighted. I'm simply going to drag it across and get it off of the first room. So who knows? We're starting to create a house here. Maybe this is a situation where the girl's bedroom opens up into the living room. Okay, great. Maybe this little 5 foot by 5 foot area, maybe that's the entryway. So why would I go around the entryway? Well, it might be that the living room is all carpet, except right there in that entryway is tile. And so I specifically want to draw it separately because I might be replacing it separately. So I might make another little square drawing here that's a 5 foot by 5 foot square. And maybe this is my entry. And again, just for the sake of time, I'm going to skip the doors. And that might be, that sits right there, but I'm not going to try to put it right on top of it. I'm simply going to move it up here. So that's one way to do a drawing. Let's do one more drawing. Let's create a room that has an angled wall. So once again, all I'm doing is touching the screen. Now, the angled wall happens to be this last wall. That was done on purpose. I find it very difficult to measure an angled wall and to get the angle exactly right. So instead, it's very easy to measure the straight, perpendicular walls. I'm going to measure those, and I'm going to force the tablet to calculate the last one. So I'm going to close shape. And now let's say that this is 10 feet. Maybe this is 10 feet. Let's make it 15 feet. Give ourselves some room. 15 feet. And maybe this last one is 5 feet. Now, what's going to happen? The tablet is going to calculate what that last angle is supposed to look like. So once again, I didn't draw it exactly the way that it was going to end up looking. I just put the corners in place. Confirm that. And we can say that maybe this is a weird shaped kitchen. I don't know. So we can put this wherever you like. Well, you know what? Maybe I drew this kitchen and I realized that I wasn't standing the right way and I need to rotate it. You'll notice the top left of the little drawing, there's an arrow that's a curved arrow. This is going to allow it to rotate clockwise. It will not rotate counterclockwise, so you just have to work its way all the way around. So it looks like we're creating a long, skinny house. Okay. So maybe this is what that kitchen looks like. And again, I would have doors and I'd have takeouts and I'd put, maybe in the kitchen there's appliances that need to be moved. All those things are in the room menu. And yes, you can go back. So from the kitchen, if I go back into the room menu, I can come over to items to move and I can add an appliance. Let's say we're going to move 2 appliances. And back to floor plan. Let's say in the living room, you know what? I really do want to capture a door for whatever reason. So I'm going to click on the living room and hit space info, room menu. And let's go to the door and let's put a door on that wall. And I'm going to move that door to the other side. and go back to the floor plan. Now, I want to show you a feature that's here. If I select both of these rooms, you'll notice that there's a new button that shows up that says Share Door. And I'm going to encourage you to never use that button. The button works, and I'll explain what it does to you. When you share doors, when you don't share doors, the living room has a transition. The girls' bedroom has a transition. So by having both of those transitions at the same time, you're getting two transitions, but you really only need one. The only technical thing that share doors does is it eliminates one of those transitions. And yes, the software works. It works perfectly. The problem is you'll end up spending 20 minutes trying to create all these doors and share doors and stuff, and it's just a waste of time when you can make the adjustment once you create your proposal, or better yet, only draw the room in one of the spaces. I know for me personally, I will typically draw the doors in the bedrooms, but I won't bother drawing doors in the hallway. And that saves me from having to deal with sharing doors or removing transitions or whatever else. So part of this, as you get good, as you practice drawing and as you work through drawing, a lot of this you're going to have to kind of develop your own, shortcuts to make yourself quicker. But sharing doors, even though technically it works, it's probably not something that I would spend a lot of time worrying with. Square feet. So what does the square foot button do? You might have a home where a customer says, hey, I need 100 square feet of something. Okay, well, you don't have to figure out how to draw that. You could simply hit the square foot button, and I'm going to simply tell it this is 100 square feet. And maybe I have a perimeter of 40 feet. Okay, so that's fine. I can hit enter and hit confirm. And maybe this is, I don't know, this is a closet or something. That's fine. Let's go back to the floor plan, and you'll see that now I have this dotted line box, which is, it's not an actual drawing. It's just a square foot number. So that's fine. The last one that you see here is stairs. And I'm going to draw the stairs, but there is an entire set of videos that are devoted to the stair wizard. So I'm going to refer you to those, but I'm going to click on the stairs button. And do I want to use the stairs wizard? Yes, I do. I'm going to make this a very, very simple staircase. You can change the name of the stairs. Maybe this is the main stairs, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly add a flight. Maybe there's carpet on the stairs. It's a straight staircase, boxed. Let's say that there's 15 stairs. Maybe they are 3 feet 10 inches wide. So what is the width? That's the width of the tread. That's the widest part of the tread. The riser is how tall they are. The tread depth is typically 11 inches. I will tell you that 99% of the time, there's no reason to key in any information about the riser or the tread, because 99% of the time, it's just a standard tread size. So that's fine. I'm just going to leave this as a basic staircase and hit OK. And now I've simply got a set of stairs. The tablet doesn't even try to make that a drawing. It just says you have stairs. All right, so we've drawn some rooms. Let's hit a couple of these rooms here. Let's go to the girls' bedroom to start with. And there's a button over on the left-hand side that says Space Info. I'm going to click on Space Info. There's 3 boxes, and you should be able to see all 3 of these boxes in their entirety. If your third box is halfway cut off, then you don't have the display settings right, and I would encourage you to send a ticket to IT and let them help you sort that out. But you should be able to see, just like my screen, you should be able to see 3 distinct boxes on the right-hand side. Now on the left, you'll see that you could select more things. I could do all these at the same time. I specifically want to do the girls' bedroom separately. What is in the girls' bedroom? What are we removing? Well, are we removing carpet and pad? Are we removing resilient, which is typically like sheet vinyl that's been glued down to concrete? Removal of resilient with the subfloor, so that might be sheet vinyl again, but this time it's glued down to a 1/4 inch underlayment. Removal of floating floor, you can see all the different ones here. Notice that you can scroll. Okay, so let's just say that we're removing carpet. How much furniture is there to move? Now you'll see this heavy furniture move that I was talking about. So heavy furniture move, now that doesn't, again, it doesn't have anything to do with the weight. Remember we had a heavy item to move, and I said that's really like a specialty item. Heavy furniture move, again, I don't want you to get hung up on the weight. I want you to think of it as just being a lot of stuff. So what is standard furniture? In a bedroom, there's a bed, there might be a couple of nightstands, a dresser. I mean, it's just normal furniture, right? Okay, that would be a standard furniture move. A heavy furniture move, you realize that there's two families living in this house, and they've got 6 bunk beds in this one bedroom. That's a lot of furniture. Each individual piece may not be that terribly heavy. So don't let the word heavy get you hung up. Think of it as a lot of furniture move. There might not be any furniture in this room. So you might have a heavy furniture move, in other words, a lot of furniture. You might have none, or you might have just a standard furniture move. And then what is the subfloor? And again, you've got a ton of different choices for what the subfloor is. I'm just going to leave it as plywood. So now you'll notice that in the girls' bedroom, it tells me that the subfloor is plywood. The living room, all the rest of these spaces, nothing else has a subfloor in it yet. So if I were to try to click over to the $sign, it will not let me move forward because I don't have the subfloors listed in the other rooms yet. So that's fine. Let's say that the living room and the kitchen are both hardwood. Space info, we're going to remove hardwood. The furniture move and the plywood, I'm good with all that. Let's say in the entry, we have tile. So we're doing tile and backer board. There's no furniture in the entryway, and my subfloor is still plywood. How about this space? Well, this space, it's removal of carpet, but there's no furniture in it, and that's great. And the stairs are the stairs. So now I have defined the subfloors in all of these spaces. I can click on the $sign to move forward. All right, so let's resize this. Now I'm on a screen to create an option. And again, right now, I just want to give you an overview of what you can do in the tablet. I'm not so concerned about trying to come up with all the different what ifs and wherefores and whatever else. So let's just take a look at what we've got. There is, however, a button on the bottom left-hand side that I want to point out to you. It's called the product selector. The product selector is not every item that's available to you. It's the most common items. So you may have an item that's in the mobile showroom that does not show up in the product selector. That's okay. The product selector is a subset of the items available to you, but it's the most common items that are available to you, right? These are the most common things. And the product selector, I mean, it's a very, very powerful tool, which I hope is not going to work in just a moment. So when I click on the button product selector, yeah, it worked. Good. Sometimes it'll pop up and it'll say that it's not available or that you don't have it. But the reason that happens is every time you change Wi-Fi's, like maybe you're working in your office and then you're working from home, all you have to do is close the app and then come right back to it. So let's say that I had gotten that error. I would simply click the 3 vertical lines at the bottom of my screen. I would close the app. Then I would come back and open the app again, go right back into the same place that I was before. You'll notice that my drawing is still there. And I hit product selector and it'll open right up for me. All right, so you'll notice product selector, carpet, wood, laminate. So let's just say that we're looking at a carpet option here. So when I look at the different carpets, I can see all these different carpets that are here. I can scroll over and I can look at for ones that have a particular durability rating. Maybe I'm looking for something that's got a particular demo. What is demo? Call it a feature. So here I've got all these with R2X. They're polyester. Here's one that's nylon and softback and R2X. Oh my goodness. So there's a lot of stuff happening with this. So this might be one that I want to give the customer some more information about. So if I click on this right here, if I just click on this one, this is going to give me even more information about this product. So you'll notice that I've got the colors, I've got the durability, the stain resistance. This is a pattern, so I've got the pattern match size. I've got all this stuff. And at the top, I've got two links. The first link is to the Shaw R2X demo. The second link is to the Shaw Lifeguard demo. So I'm just going to click on the Lifeguard demo. And assuming you are connected to a Wi-Fi service, you're going to get this pop-up. Now, if I hit play.
Want someone to spill the tea about our award-winning carpet innovation?
All right, so I'm going to pause this. But this video is going to go through a little a little demonstration about how Lifeguard works. And I'm just going to sort of bounce through here. These are all professionally done. And they're very, very well done. Most of these, you'll see this one's only 1 minute and 30 seconds. They are meant to be shown to the customer. So I'm going to hit the back button. It comes back here. So if I go back into that product selector, you'll see there's several of these that have those links. So for example, okay, that was one for Lifeguard. You'll see under demo R2X, that's great. Maybe if I scroll down, let's go look at wood, and you'll see I've got repel water resistant. So let's click on that. And sure enough, there is a little link to the repel water technology. This one happens to go to YouTube where it's going to go through all the different things. That's great, but again, this is something that was meant to be able to be shared in front of the customer. So your product selector, once again, it does not have everything that's available to you. You'll notice that the product selector does not show pricing. It'll show you the price group, but it will not show pricing, because this is a tool that, if you wanted to show the customer one of these videos, it's fine for the customer to see you go through this. All right, so let's click on these rooms. Maybe we'll do everything the same. So let's just put a new hardwood floor everywhere, except this, whatever this square footage number is. So we're going to do a hardwood floor in these rooms. I'm going to hit the hammer button that says set install info, and I can pick my product type. So let's pick hardwood. Now, every one of these product types has a separate set of menus, and you need to look at each one of these menus and make sure that you're picking the right thing. So how are we going to install this? Is it nail and staple down? Is it glued down? Is it nail or stapled in a pattern, like you're doing a chevron or a herringbone or some sort of pattern? Is it a floated hardwood floor? Is it a glue down pattern? If it's a pattern, is it a diagonal pattern, straight? What kind of underlayment do you need? What kind of subfloor work, if any? How about trim work? Are you going to simply install quarter round to the existing baseboards? Are you going to remove the existing trim and put the existing trim back up? Are you going to put in new baseboards, cove base, tile base? You've got a lot of different things to choose from here. So I'm just going to install quarter round to the existing baseboards. And typically hard surface is a drop charge. So that's right. So hard surface freight is a drop charge. And I'm going to simply pick a product. So I'm going to pick a price group 3. I'm not sure what product the customer is really going to look for. So I'm just going to pick a PG3 hardwood. That's price group 3. It's just going to get me in the ballpark. It's not the number that I'm going to show the customer, but it's going to get me close. So now I can hit the enter button. It gives me a list of everything that's going to be included in this proposal. I can hit the check mark. And let's just go in and set and do a complete option. So let's say this first option, this is all that the customer is looking for. And okay, so I've got all my line items here. I can look at all these different things. I can see if all this stuff makes sense to me. I can make edits as I need to. How would I edit it? Well, at the bottom of this section, you'll see these different icons. There's a plus button, which is going to allow you to add lines. There's a folder if you've saved things for later use. There's a pencil, which is an edit. There's a two arrows that are crisscrossing. I call it the little switcheroo button, right? So right now, I just want to hit the pencil. If I hit the pencil, you'll notice that everything that's underlined can be edited. So maybe instead of install transition, I want to be specific and say, we're going to install a T-molding for whatever that's worth. And I decided that we don't really need 3 of them. We only need 2 of them because I had drawn 2 doors side by side and I don't need 3. I just need 2. So that's fine. I can make that change and then I can hit the check mark to accept the change. And so now you'll see that the text has been changed. Well, maybe there's something that I need to change the price on. So appliance move. Right now it says $30. Let's hit the change button again. My cost is $30. I'm charging the customer $60, but I have 2 of them, so the customer's getting charged $120. Maybe my deal with the installer is it's $30 if it's just one, but if he's in the house and he's doing multiples, it's 30 for the first one and 15 for each one afterwards. I don't know. I'm making stuff up as I go. So maybe this becomes 45, but only for one. So I'm going to do 145 charge, and that's going to get me my 2 appliances, one at 30 and one at 15. Okay. Anyway, you can do that. You can hit the plus button and add lines to it. The switcheroo button, this is a wonderful button. Right now, I have just PG3 listed as a hardwood. So it's just a price group 3. I don't know what the customer is going to pick. This is my way of putting together a rough draft proposal so that when I actually present product to the customer, I can make a change very, very fast and pick the exact product that they're looking for. Well, let's say that now they have picked the exact product. I can hit the little switch button. Notice at the top, PG3 is there. I can hit the little switcheroo button and I can put in the exact product name. So maybe they've picked a board called Timber Trail. Timber Trail. Good. And they picked color natural. So notice what it's done at the top. It has changed PG3 to now say Timber Trail Natural. Everything else has stayed the same. It's just affected that one line. All right, so that's great. I'm going to come down to the bottom and hit the button that says create more options. So I have the ability to either create a new option or to duplicate this option. Well, I'm going to duplicate this option. And I'm going to duplicate option 1. And so I now have 2 options that are exactly the same. Well, this first option is without stairs. Let me add the stairs to the second option. So now we're going to say with stairs. So all I'm going to do here, I don't need to recreate the wheel. All I'm going to do is I'm going to select the stairs and hit set install info. So everything else is the same. Set install info. We're going to do hardwood. We're going to use not solid hardwood treads, but full retreads, a primed white riser. Okay, everybody's happy. Hit next, hit OK. And now I have added the stairs. Now, how did the price go down? So when I go into complete option, it has reverted to PG3. That's expected. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit the switcheroo button again and just do Timber Trail. And let's find that Timber Trail natural again. Perfect. So create more options, but this time I'm just going to hit an X so that we can see what we've got. So I have 2 options right now. I've got an option with the stairs and I've got an option without the stairs. Okay, let's create a third option. I'm going to duplicate the one without stairs again. So right below the option, I'm going to hit the little copy button. Now this one is going to be done, let's say, without the kitchen. So no kitchen. no stairs. No kitchen, no stairs. All right. So if I look at no kitchen, no stairs, I want to remove the kitchen. So I'm going to simply click on the kitchen. And when I click on the kitchen, there's a new button at the bottom that says remove from option. So if I remove this, do you really want to remove? Yes, I do. I simply take the kitchen out. I'm going to go into complete option and just make sure. Notice it changed the PG3 back. That's it to be expected. So it's a very quick switch. Let's put the timber trail back in. Make sure we get the natural. Good. Create more options, but I'm just going to X out. So I have three options here. I have one with the stairs, I have one without the stairs, and then I've got one with no kitchen, no stairs. Simple enough. You could create a new option for a completely different product type. So you could hit the little plus button and create something new. This is where you're going to spend a lot of time just practicing, creating a bunch of different stuff here. Once I've created all my options and the different things that I want to do, I can click on the continue to presentation button. When I play the company story, you remember I did not take an inspection video. You will have taken an inspection video. So once you're ready to rock and roll, you hit play the company story. The inspection video will play first, and then just swipe to the left to get to the company story. The company story, I'm simply going to swipe through. I'm going to go through the company story with my customer. You notice all I'm doing to move the screen is just swiping. Swipe to the left, swipe to the left. I can swipe to the right if I need to go back. I'm going to avoid hitting that blue X at the bottom. The blue X will exit me out of the company story. So I'm going to just keep on trucking. There is a video that plays in the middle of this that talks about the installation process. And this is a beautiful time for you to be able to explain to the customer what the install is going to look like. I'm going to keep swiping until I get all the way to the end of the company story and I can't swipe anymore. Then I can hit the X to get out. Next brings me to my different options. This is a screen that the customer typically does not see. So let's say that I click on the with stairs option and I want to open the price and payment sheet. So I click on open price and payment sheet. And now I can deliver the price to the customer. Maybe they like this price. Maybe I have to swipe it to get to without stairs. Maybe I have to swipe it the other way to get with no kitchen and stairs. Maybe I'm going to give them a reference list discount. Maybe I'm going to give them a military discount. You can do any of these things. All right. Maybe they pick a particular financing company. Maybe they want to do 48 months. So let's click on that. Maybe it's not 48 months. Maybe they want to do 72 months. So I can edit that number. Maybe there's a down payment involved and they do a $4,000 down payment. Okay. I'm not suggesting that this is the way that yours are going to go. I'm throwing this out here. So that you can see what the tablet does. The tablet automatically calculates payment terms based on a 12.99% interest rate. You see that at the bottom left. Maybe you've worked out a deal with the customer where you're going to buy down the interest to 9.99 and they want to see what that would look like. Okay, great. So there it is. So now we've got 9.99 on 72 months with a $4,000 down payment. I'm going to click on the button that says continue to proposal. This is not technically the proposal. This is what's called the worksheet. So it gives you the customer information would be at the top, location information, who is Floor Coverings International. These are customizable. So if you want something different at your branch, it absolutely can be customized. There's two boxes that you can key information into: project information and proposal information. So the project information, this is information that is relevant to every option that you've done. So for example, there might be a gate code, gate code 1234, and maybe that goes into the project information. Maybe there's maybe the customer has agreed there's a big fish tank in the middle of the living room. It doesn't matter what floor we do, the customer is going to move the fish tank. So it might be that I click on the plus button there and I put under project information that the customer is going to move the fish tank. Proposal information is specific to this option, and it's only this option. So project information, if I key it in here, it's going to copy to all three of the options that I created. Proposal information is going to be just this one option. You'll see you've got your line item detail here, and down at the bottom, all the payment information. So we set a $4,000 down payment, 72 months at 9.99%. I can click on continue to proposal. And down here, it's going to give me a nice clean proposal with the ability to sign my signature, customer signature. So if I sign it, all I'm going to do is touch the tablet and sign it. The customer signs it. They do the same thing. And you can email this to the customer by simply clicking down here where it says send. And you can pick, I want to send all three. I only want to send the one. What am I doing? I hit next. And then it generates a PDF that I can send. I won't go through this, but it sends. You do need to be logged into your Microsoft Outlook app on the tablet in order for this to work. Right now, I'm going to hit the button that says complete appointment. And I can, because I had marked it as reset before, it's going to stay that way. It doesn't really matter. But now I actually have proposals that are written in there. So I know this is a lot of information. I would encourage you to go back and rewatch. I would encourage you to take a look at little snippets and just focus on those little snippets. But I wanted you to see sort of an overall view of what the tablet can do. There's other deeper functionality that's out there, but this is going to give you enough to really, really get started and to develop some familiarity with what the tablet has. Thank you for your attention and look forward to working with you in the future.